Hi, my name is Madison Trujillo, and this is my presentation for the Albigensian Crusade. Today we'll explore how this brutal conflict between the Catholic Church and the Cathar movement in southern France shaped the political and religious climate of the region. The Albigensian Crusade, which took place in the early 13th century, was a defining moment in the medieval history. This struggle not only reshaped the power dynamics of towns like Toulouse, but it also left a lasting impact on the religious and social landscape of the time. My thesis is that the Crusades' effect on southern France was profound, influencing its political order and altering its religious and social structures for decades to come. To understand the Albigensian Crusade, we must first understand the Cathars. The Cathar movement emerged in southern France in the late 12th century and posed a direct challenge to the Catholic Church authority. Cathars adhered to a dualistic worldview, which held that there were two opposing forces, a good spiritual realm and a material world created by an evil god. They rejected the materialism and corruption of the church, advocating for a more personal and spiritual faith. Catharism appealed to many people, especially those frustrated by the church's wealth and power. One striking aspect of the movement was its egalitarian nature, with both men and women playing important roles in religious life. As Mundy emphasizes in his research, Cathar women had a greater degree of participation in religious matters than women in the traditional church. This progressive attitude towards gender roles made the Cathar movement distinctive, drawing many followers across the region. The Catholic Church viewed the rise of Cathars as a direct threat to its authority, both religiously and politically. In 1208, Pope Innocent III launched the Albigensian Crusade, framing it as a holy war against heresy. However, as Strayer points out, this was not only a religious endeavor, the crusade was also motivated by political ambitions to reassert control over the Languedoc region, a wealthy and semi-anonymous area. The crusade began in earnest in 1209 with military campaigns led by archers and knights. One of the first major battles was the siege of Baziers, a town known for harboring Cathar sympathizers. When the Crusaders captured the town, thousands of people were slaughtered, including many Catholics. The Papal legate reportedly said, quote, "Kill them all. God will know his own," end quote, highlighting the ruthless nature of the conflict. The Albigensian Crusade unfolded over 2 decades, involving brutal military campaigns across southern France. The Crusaders employed a range of strategies, from direct assaults on Cathar strongholds to scorched earth tactics designed to break the resistance of local populations. The church also used propaganda effectively, promoting the Crusades as a religious duty for knights across Europe. One of the key objectives was to dismantle the feudal system that had allowed Catharism to flourish. By redistributing lands to loyal Catholic nobles, the church consolidated its power over the region. Starr argues that this redistribution of power was one of the most significant long-term impacts of the Crusade, as it effectively ended the autonomy of southern France's noble families and brought the region under tighter control of the church. The social impact of the Albigensian Crusade on the communities of southern France was devastating. As Many describes in his study of Toulouse, the violence of the Crusade tore apart the social fabric of the region. Fear and mistrust spread throughout towns and villages as neighbors turned against one another, accusing each other of heresy. The Crusade destroyed the traditional social institutions that had held these communities together. One of the most enduring legacies of the Crusade was the establishment of the Inquisition. After the military campaign ended, the church sought to root out any remaining Catholic sympathizers throughout systematic persecution. The Inquisition created a climate of fear that stifled religious dissent and reinforced the Catholic Church's dominance over southern France. This shift marked the beginning of a more repressive religious environment, where questioning church authority could lead to severe consequences. Uh, Gender dynamics in Catholic society also changed drastically as a result of the Crusade. As mentioned earlier, the Catholic movement initially allowed women to take on significant religious roles, participating as spiritual leaders. However, as Mundy points out, the violence and societal collapse that followed the Crusade pushed women back into traditional domestic roles. The church's suppression of Catholic faith not only destroyed its religious teachings, but also reversed the more progressive gender roles that had been emerging within the movement. This highlights how conflict can profoundly alter societal structures, including gender norms. In conclusion, the Albigensian Crusade was far more than a religious war. It was a complex struggle involving political ambitions, social upheaval, and the exercise of power by the church. The Crusade devastated the Catholic movement and reshaped the political, social, and religious landscape of southern France. Towns like Toulouse felt the effects of the conflicts for generations, and the church's heavy-handed response ensured its dominance in the region. The legacy of the Albigensian Crusade reminds us of all of the lengths to which institutions will go to preserve power and control. It serves as an example of how religious and political conflicts can reshape entire societies. And this is a list of my sources that I used for this presentation. Uh, Thank you for watching. Ooh, sorry, I don't know how to end this.